Hello YouTube. Today we are sitting in the ATR 72-500 from Aerosoft for X-Plane 10, and I did a couple of videos on this aircraft quite some time ago, and I did mention in those videos that I found that the climb rate and cruise speed of the ATR was rather slow compared to the Flight 1 ATR, which I used to use in FSX. If you're trying to climb to 21, 22, 23,000 feet, it does take a long time. I felt it was too slow, and when you did get to the cruise altitude, the actual speed was very slow. You were getting 190 knots, 200 if you were very lucky. But it used to take an age to climb to a decent altitude. I had a look in the forums, and I put some initial requests out there of other people that had the same problem, and one or two had, and one guy came back to me with what turned out to be a modification which I think works really well. Now, normally what I do anyway is I set the altitude up in the autopilot to 21, 22, whatever cruise altitude you want to fly at, and I set the indicated airspeed, climb speed, at around 160, 170 knots, and then take off and put the autopilot on, and it should climb at around 160 to 170 knots, depending on what you put, number you put in there, the autopilot. And it does do that, but it takes an age to do it, and you'll find that it probably climbs at 1,000 feet per minute, and then it will drop down to, if you're lucky, 500 feet per minute to get to that target altitude. And then when you get to the cruise altitude, you'll find the speed is not the best. So after this modification, which I'm going to show you in a minute or two, you should find that it will climb much better, and when it gets to cruise, the actual cruise speed will be more, I think, more realistic. So first of all, I'm going to say, before you do anything to the aircraft files, make a backup copy of the ATR so that you've got something to fall back on if you're not sure, if you don't, this modification doesn't appeal to you. So what do we do? Let's have a look. Okay, so first of all, we go into our X-Plane folder, and if you look down there, you'll find a file called PlaneMaker. It's a .exe file, and if you double click on that and run the file, you'll come up with this, and this is called PlaneMaker. It comes with X-Plane. It's in the X-Plane 10 folder, and what we need to do is, when it opens up, go to File, Open. Now it'll come up with the aircraft folder in your X-Plane 10, and you need to find your ATR aircraft in there. I've got two, as you can see, because one's a beta that I'm testing at the moment. Click on the ATR 72.acf file, which is the aircraft file, and click Open Aircraft. And what it will do, it will load the details for this particular aircraft into PlaneMaker. It's quite a simple modification, this, but it does work really well. And as I say, if you make a backup of your aircraft first, then you've always got that to go back to. So here we are. This is what you've come up. It's got the ATR 72 there. Now, what we need to do now is go to Standard, Engine Specs, and you'll see that the first column on the left hand side, General Engine Specs, Critical Altitude, they're all at 0, and we need to change that value to 2, 5, 0, 0, 0, 25,000 feet, maximum altitude at which power available at 0 speed, and that is all you need to do. That will make the difference. So when we've done that, we click on the little cross, not the top one, that will close the program down, little cross underneath, go to File and Save, and that's it. That's saved into the aircraft file. Can now close that program down, and that's all you need to do for the modification. And then reload your ATR back up into X-Plane 10, and you will find that makes a heck of a difference to the performance of this aircraft. It will climb faster, and it will cruise at what I think is a reasonable speed. If you don't like it, you can always go back to your original, but that does make a heck of a difference. So I hope you find that useful. I've never had any problems since altering that figure, and the aircraft certainly performs more to what I would expect it to. So let me know how you go on with that modification, and hope it goes okay for you. See you next time.